two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. With Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with Brian Enjoys Wrestling and MW. Oh, and this is our WWE edition of the week where we're going to talk all things SmackDown, Raw, and NXT, and we even have prediction time. But Ryan, we've been in a weird state right now, so let's just catch up really quick and get into this. But you're over there and being snowed in, and I'm over here being flamed out once again. It is crazy.
I know. We talked about this a few weeks ago, but it's crazy how one side of the country is on fire and the other side of the country is going through some of the coldest temperatures it's seen in a long time. So, it's, but everyone just stay safe out there. It's we'll get through it. We'll get through it. My kids have been home all week, so we're going stir crazy at our house. So we're ready for school to come back up and hopefully things pick back up next week.
Yeah, for sure. The crazy thing, the first fires weren't that close to me, right? Like we were affected in a sense, like my job, but this one was literally like next to my house. So it was pretty close. And my ex-wife got removed. She had to evacuate. I was a street away from evacuation. So a lot of my friends got evacuated. My kids' schools were closed down because they got it back where their schools were. The fires were pretty crazy stuff, but safe and good. And luckily, I don't think this fire harmed anybody and didn't really take away. Difference is when a fire burns in the Palisades, which are buildings upon buildings upon buildings, you can't stop a fire. Here, it was in the middle of nowhere, like the woods. So they were able to dig around and kind of stop it from. So props to the firemen, man. Good. Firemen, true heroes, dude. They do their damn thing and they do it well. So props. Yeah. And supposedly all these fires are being started by morons. So that's the sad part. That's the rumors has it. They're catching people starting these fires. So do better, people. Do better.
I know. So ridiculous.
It is. All right. Well, let's get into it. You ready? Because I know we have some news. So let's get into the news, my man. Two dudes. Read the news. What you got?
Yeah. So this is more speculation than anything, but apparently there's reports going on that Nikki Bella is in talks to return to the WWE. We saw the Bella twins show up on the first Raw on Netflix. We obviously know Brie Bella is married to Bryan Danielson, so I don't think we'll be seeing her in WWE anytime soon because I know he's an AEW loyalist. But Nikki Bella, who used to be married or was engaged to John Cena, is back and wanting to return. So we might be seeing the return of one of the two Bella twins in WWE. And who's to say Brie can't come back too?
Yeah, is she married, Nikki Bella? She was the one that had that weird. Was she the one that had the weird thing with the domestic violence? Right?
Yeah, the domestic. Wasn't that her? I think it was. Yeah, I think that was.
Yeah,
because it wasn't Bryan Danielson.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it. Yeah, her husband was. There was reports of domestic violence in her domestic situation. I don't think it was violence. It was just maybe they were arguing or something.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and so
it went both ways, right? But are they still together, or
she has left them. She left them.
Oh, okay.
They broke up, so she is newly single, but also ready to. I guess that could be why she wants to come back to the WWE.
Yeah, maybe. All right, well, hold on. I'm going to take a quick break. I need to message somebody.
Call her up. Quick. Yeah,
I wish. Cool. You see Nikki Bella? Holy guacamole! But anyway, I'm actually excited. Unlike other people who hate on the Bellas and any female wrestler during the Divas stage of the careers, it wasn't their fault they didn't get the play time. I thought the Bellas were dope. I like them, and Nikki Bella obviously was my favorite out of the two. I think she got better and better in the ring, and if she comes back, I think she's still young, right? She looked great when she was at Raw on Netflix. So I say bring her back. Let's do it. I think that's awesome. Good for her. Good for her.
She's 41 years old. So
she's 41. Dang. I mean, I'm older than that, but still, she looks good, man. Good for her age.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And then the other little bit of news, is, and this is again pure speculation than anything, but there's reports out there that Alexa Bliss was scheduled to return on the January 13th episode of Monday Night Raw,
Okay.
to do something with the Wyatt Six. And on that episode, it was announced that the Wyatt Six were moved to SmackDown. And our report came out this week that all plans with Alexa Bliss have been scrapped, as the two sides have had a disagreement over her contract. So she was supposed to come back last week, and Representatives of Bliss reached out to WWE executives and said they wanted to discuss a new contract before her return. She wanted a brand new deal with higher pay or benefits, but WWE wanted to keep her on her existing deal, which they recently extended because of her time away. And so because of these negotiations, they were at an impasse. And so WWE put their plans for Bliss's return on hold. So we could have had Alexa Bliss back, which I think could have really helped that women's division in a huge way, really helped the Wyatt Six storyline, because that's who she's rumored to be working with. And, now the Wyatt Six have been relegated to SmackDown. If you can even call what they're doing over there. I don't even think they were on SmackDown, but they're on.
No.
So I feel like the Wyatt Six storyline is quickly losing its shine a little bit, and not having Alexa Bliss is really disappointing. So hopefully they can reach a contract negotiation and they can figure everything out, and she can come back soon, maybe for the Rumble.
Bliss is my top 5 all time, so I hate not having her around, and they've done this over and over. And I know she had a baby, got married, and other things, and that's why. But still, man, like, so have other female wrestlers, and they come back, and it always seems like she wants to come back. I don't know I thought Trips liked her. I don't know what the deal is, but she's way too talented. Let her go then. Let her go to AEW. Just let her do something. If you're not going to use her, I'm so sick of these promoters, and we'll get into that with AEW too, that they're just keeping them around. Just like, and I get it, you got to honor your contract, but at the same time, don't pay them for, like, these people, like, this isn't like you're in my job, where the older I get, it doesn't really affect it. Like, the older these wrestlers get, it affects them. This is their prime age. Like, let these people, if you're not going to hire them or work them, let them go. Also, Wyatt Six, man, this is the same shit all over again. This is exactly what they did with Bray. I knew it would happen. I'm even done talking about them. They're never going to do it. They might as well just disband and move on. It was a dumb idea to begin with. Bray was the mastermind, and when he passed, I get what they were trying to do, but they did nothing with it. Triple H, nobody can book this group properly. Let's move on. I'm over it. Don't even bring them back. No more. Because you're going to do it again, and then they'll be gone again. What's the point?
Even if you bring Alexa Bliss back, you don't have to put her with the Wyatt Six. She would be a huge, she could be a 100%. Good Intercontinental Championship feud with Valkyria. She could go after the Women's Championship. Rhea Ripley needs some challengers. So bring Alexa. You have to bring Alexa Bliss in. You have to. You got to bring her back.
She was better without when she wasn't with Bray. Her character is amazing. She's just a super uber good talented wrestler. Great promo, great look. Yeah, no, she needs to be back. Yeah. All right, let's get into some SmackDown, bruh, or SmackDown, and let's start off with the MVP of the WWE, and that is one Kevin Owens. I know you want to talk about it. Yeah. What did you like about Kevin? Because we're going to talk about Kevin Owens and SmackDown and Raw. That's how good he is. But what did you like? Let's hear it. Let's go.
He's carrying everything right now. But I loved first of all, it was Rey Mysterio cutting. I know they were in San Diego, but he's cutting a random promo about entering the Royal Rumble. And how I
think we're in the Rumble, bro. Everybody's in Rumble this year.
He's going to overcome the odds, and he entered at number 2 in 2006 and won, and it was a cool moment. And then Kevin Owens, man, coming out. First of all, we got to talk about his shirt. His shirt was fantastic. It said the Canadian Dream, son of a security clearance. I can't remember, but it was son of a intelligence security officer or something. God, it was so good. Clearly making fun of Cody Rhodes and the American Nightmare, son of a plumber type thing. But and his promo just talking about how he has nothing but respect for Rey Mysterio. And what I found interesting though was Kevin Owens was dishing all these or Rey Mysterio was dishing all these insults to Kevin Owens, but it took the comment about "you sound just like my son Dominic" that like set Kevin Owens off to attack him, which I thought was really strange. And then like you heard Kevin Owens going up the ramp, "I'm nothing like Dominic. I'm nothing like Dominic." But so I thought that was a little bizarre. But man, that was a good way to open SmackDown. And we got to talk the 3-hour thing, because whew, that show drags on. And Kevin Owens and Rey Mysterio was a hot way to open it, and it was a good way to close it. But that everything in the middle was just dragged on.
It's crazy, right? Because I remember posting about how right when SmackDown did 3 hours, how I said it's not going to work and it is too long and it feels like it's the whole next day. And oh boy, did I get beat up. And now I opened up TikTok yesterday and today, and every wrestling creator is literally saying how much they hate 3 hours of Smack. These people, man. That's why you don't just hate on people's comments for no reason. And post, listen, give an opinion, move on. But oh boy, it is. I told you it's a long show. But anyway, Kevin Owens, man. What I really, really enjoyed about it though was his stake of once again telling him, hey, when you win the Royal Rumble, for my title. I love that he's admitting that he's the champion, stating he's the champion. I love just the fact that he put over somebody who is probably the most liked wrestler of all time. He literally made Rey Mysterio feel even more important than he already is by saying like, hey, we've never wrestled. And me being the champion is great, but me wrestling you and beating you would be even better on my resume. He hyped the shit out of someone who doesn't even need to be hyped up. That's how good he is. And it was a fun match, and the right man won, and I enjoyed everything about Kevin Owens and SmackDown. My one thing, though, is that you talked about with Dom. The only reason why I don't like that is because I'm starting to feel like they're going to turn Dom babyface, and
I'm starting to get that. Yeah,
I think it's the right idea. He needs to stay a heel. It's just, it'll be fun at first, but I don't think Dom can last as a babyface. I think he needs to be a heel. That's his gimmick. The gimmick is that he hates his dad and so on. So it's like, I don't think he can go the other way. But yeah, good stuff from Kevin Owens. What'd you think about a certain little package that was shown, huh? Because we're getting the queen, as they say. Woo! Charlotte Flair is coming back. They didn't say when, but she's like coming in the back. What'd you think? You excited? You bummed?
I'm going to be honest. I'm excited. I think the women's division, especially on the Raw side, really needs some credible opponents. And we'll talk about it when we get to Raw a little bit more. But they're having to go to SmackDown to get Rhea Ripley's first opponent for Saturday night's main event because there's nobody else built up. And and so I think Charlotte Flair is perfect, and I think she's had a rivalry with Rhea Ripley in the past. She wrestled her at WrestleMania 39, so I think it's a great opportunity for her to come back. I miss Charlotte Flair. I don't necessarily. I understand the critics of Charlotte Flair. I would like to see her have a run in the WWE without a championship and without having to go for a title. I feel like she always has to be in the title picture. But I'm excited to have her back because I think the women's division could use her and Becky Lynch to come back ASAP. They really, really need it.
Yeah, I fully agree with everything you said. She's like a SmackDown girl, though, kind of like how Cena was always like a Raw guy. Yeah. I feel like they just have to put her on SmackDown. My thing is this. Well, go ahead. Go. What are you gonna say?
I was going to say her and Tiffany Stratton would be a fun feud.
That's 100% what we're getting. So here's the thing, right? I'm all for Charlotte Flair coming back. It's, for one, if you like her or hate her, you can't deny the fact that she's one of the best, if not the best, female wrestler of all time. So there's that, right? You can't deny how much, whether you like her or not. Here's my thing with Charlotte Flair, though, and I've said this for years on years. You can check my TikToks and so on. She is someone like John Cena, where she lets the belt make her instead of the superstar making the belt. And they both, their whole entire career, that's why I don't think they're either the top people, because they have survived off of being the champion. They can't not have the belt because it's like they can't function without it. Where people like, Randy Orton's and Shawn Michaels and shoot, even like a Kevin Owens can be bigger than the champion without the belt. Like, I don't think Cody Rhodes could be as big as he is right now without the belt. Some people need the championship belt, and that's fine. And I think Charlotte has been that person. So with that said, I worry. If she wants to come back, do it.
Yeah.
You want to win the title one day, win it. But you need to come back to push talent, and you need to start with losing to Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. I'm not saying she wouldn't do it. I'm just fearful that the creators and the writers of WWE are not going to let that happen. But they need to let that happen because Tiffany Stratton losing to Charlotte Flair isn't the same rub as Tiffany Stratton being able to say, hey, I beat the queen, the GOAT, at the biggest stage of it
Yeah.
all. That's a huge feather in her cap. So if she's coming back for that, sign me up. If she's not, she'll help until she gets there, but that'll be a bad decision in my opinion.
I still think a Nia Jax Charlotte Flair rivalry would have been perfect for her return, because Nia Jax won Queen of the Ring. She was going around saying she was the queen of the WWE. She had the queen gimmick with the crown and everything. And the perfect time for the actual queen to come back and let it, take her throne back, or if you will. So, but yeah, I'm all for Charlotte coming back. Bring her back and boost this women's division.
Agreed. All right, last thing. Let's get into it. Solo Sikoa. Jacob Fatu was out there with Tama Tonga. Out comes Solo Sikoa. He gets booed. He didn't get booed that hard, but I guess that was the plan, that he was going to get booed. He didn't get booed like someone we'll talk about in NXT. Got booed nonetheless, walked out. Jacob Fatu then took the mic and basically said, I'm crazy. I'm him. And it was fantastic shit. But everybody then went, oh, well, Jacob Fatu is the new tribal chief. Suplex. But no, that's not how it worked, right? That's not what's going on. So what did you think? Did you dig the promo? And what do you think the future holds for the bloodline? I'm doing the air quotes for all our Spotify listeners.
So we didn't go into it with the news segment, but apparently there was a report out there that the Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga are still they're gonna remain together, but they're no longer going to be referred to as the Bloodline or the Bloodline 2.0. So there's that report. Now that's Meltzer coming up with that. So who knows if there's any truth to it, but I liked it. I liked it because it was different. I was expecting a promo from Solo, and the fact that he gave us absolutely nothing. I didn't think the heat was that strong for him. I mean, he wasn't getting New Day heat or Dirty Dom heat, so for him to just walk out and not say anything. And then I liked the promo from Jacob Fatu. I have no idea what the hell he said, but but I loved it. It was just it fit his character perfectly. I thought my favorite part too was Carmelo Hayes being like, laughing at the fact, like trying to help out Jacob Fatu, and when they were jumping LA Knight, and he's like sending him up, telling him what to do, and then they turn around and clothesline him as well. That whole segment was great. But they do have to answer some questions here soon, because people are starting to get a little, the bloodline story is starting to drag out a little bit, and we need some answers. And I think Roman's coming back to Raw on Monday, or supposedly, so hopefully we'll get some movement on the story there. But we need something.
So bloodline is done on both sides. I'm just saying it right now. I do think, and I think I said it on this podcast already, that Solo, Tama, and Jacob Fatu should team up with Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens, create an NWO type of faction, or a Death Riders type of faction if you're into the right now, and want to take over and rid the WWE of Cody Rhodes and the OG bloodline. That's what I think should happen. They don't need a name. It's just 6 dudes all on the same mission. There's no leaders, no real group name. It's just 6 of them just ripping up shop and taking people out and beating people up until they get rid of Roman, Cody, Jimmy, Jay, and that's what I think is their goal right now. I think that's what should happen, because all 6 of them have the same goal. Well, Seth will get into it. So, but that's what I think should happen moving forward. And I think if they do that, it works. And them saying, or Dave Meltzer saying, that the bloodline is done kind of helps with my theory on what I think is going to happen. So,
it's interesting. And I mean, there's a lot of ways that this can go. Jacob Fatu has a match on Saturday Night Main Event against Braun Strowman, which, so I think that match is going to, I'm excited. I think that's the match I'm like most excited about on this entire card, just because the last time we saw Braun Strowman, he was wrestling Bronson Reed in that monster match, and it was just fantastic. And now you're getting Jacob Fatu, who's known for his craziness in the ring. It's like, sign me up for this. I'm super pumped, but hopefully we'll get some advancements on that story pretty soon.
Well, and hopefully we still get "I love you, Solo."
Yeah,
we don't
I know
get that anymore. I'm gonna be bummed. So
I know.
he
didn't say it this week. He didn't. I was waiting. I kept waiting for him to say.
Yeah.
I kept waiting for him to say it, but he didn't.
That should have been a shirt. All right, let's get into Raw, because MWO likes it Raw. Let's go. Let's start with, you know what? I want to start with something interesting. Let's start with the CM Punk promo. It was quick. It was effective. It was supposedly off the cuff. It was with the beautiful Jackie, and it was also in a skybox, which was kind of weird. So what'd you think? What'd you think of the CM Punk promo? It felt like he was back, dude.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, he has, really cut some strong promos, and he's getting better and better. And now that he's starting to, we're getting away from the you left me, you left the WWE, and you like that was his whole thing with Drew McIntyre, and that was his whole thing with with Seth Rollins. Now that we're getting away from that, his promos are really starting to take off, and he's starting to, instead of focusing on the past, he's focusing on the current talent in the WWE, and he's focusing on, you know, the WWE situations. And yeah, that promo talking about killing Hulkamania once and for all. I feel like that was, you know, Hulk Hogan got booed on Raw a couple weeks ago, so I feel like he was capitalizing on that. He's the biggest star in the company, like you said last week. He is. This man is. You can make the case that he is the top dog in the WWE, and he doesn't have to wrestle. He doesn't have to do anything. He just shows up and he gets a pop, and he cuts a promo and he gets a pop. I mean, but everything he said was great. I loved it all, and it was all off the cuff too.
100%. Well, here's the thing, right? Punk supposedly is a hardcore liberal. Hogan's obviously a hardcore conservative, and that's why I think he made that comment. Punk is always, you know, but he's also a hypocrite because he did things where he called people out on COVID and
they were in Dallas.
He didn't give to, but Punk never gave to. Remember back in the indie days, he used to call people out and they were writing, they could beat him up. Punk has never given two shits. That's why he went to the UFC and got beat up. You know what I mean? He always thought he was that tough guy, but it was a great promo, great vibe. I like that he's not afraid to call people out on their stuff. And if this doesn't tell you that he's winning the Royal Rumble, I'm telling you, Punk, when he came back, he was signed, still delivered for last Mania. I think last Mania he was supposed to beat Seth, win the title, and win Rumble. I think they're just I don't buy into the whole like it wasn't an audible. Cody was supposed to win the Rumble. No, he was not. That was supposed to be Punk. He got hurt, told the ref, and they switched that up real quick. I think this year Punk wins. Punk beats probably, I'm assuming, Gunther at Mania, and gets everything that he never got back in the days when he was under Vince McMahon. So I think this is just, and that's why I think he's on fire right now, because I think he is giving his best work for a reason. He's back, baby. He's back. He's the biggest star in wrestling, not just WWE.
Yeah,
all of it.
I mean, everything. I mean, you look at the AEW numbers since he left, and you look at the WWE numbers since he got there. I mean, his stuff is always the most viewed, the most watched, the most talked about. I mean, his promo this week was really good. He's just getting more and more confident too. Before, like the Punk that we were seeing in the McIntyre feud felt a little bit more corporate and reined in. Like, I'm here for the WWE. I came back for the fans. I'm yay me. And now he's just like, he's letting the filter down, letting his guard down and not giving a shit. And I'm digging it. It's awesome.
I agree.
This is the Punk that I loved.
Oh, for sheezy. Let's get back into Kevin Owens, huh? Him and Sami Zayn are friends again. Recycled garbage or something good? What do you think? Is it recycled and you're like, oh, here we go again, it's an umpteen time, or do you like it because it fits the narrative?
I liked it because I don't think they're friends. I think it's
absolutely not.
No, I think there's going to be, you know, we saw at the end of Raw with Sami Zayn inadvertently kicking Seth Rollins. I think that's going to play into this. Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn were talking backstage, and there was Karrion Kross creeping around the corner watching them. So I think that's going to play into this. I think what it did was plant some seeds for a potential Sami Zayn heel turn in the future. And maybe he joins Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. And he realizes that, you know what, these guys are right. Roman Reigns has destroyed this company. Roman Reigns has been holding this company hostage. That's what I think they're going with. I think they're planting the seeds for a potential Sami Zayn heel turn. So I actually liked this. I liked the way they set it up. I was expecting what Sami Zayn said. You know, what are we going to do? I mean, I teamed with Roman Reigns too. Are you going to beat me up? Are you mad at me too? And the fact that Kevin Owens was like, no, you had history with him, and you know, it made sense. I was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of digging this little angle that they're going with. So I liked all of it. I thought it was great.
Once again, the best thing about Kevin Owens is he's the only one living in the WWE who understands he's in the WWE, right? Like everybody else is living in they're part of the story. They're part of the characters. They don't know they're in the universe, right? Like Kevin Owens knows he's on TV. Kevin Owens knows he's a WWE character. That's just what's great about him. Like talks rational, like you said. Yeah, he wants to destroy the bloodline for everything they did to him. Sami Zayn, he explained perfectly, like you said. Yeah, dude, you had history. You had to do that. You teamed back. That makes sense, right? We're brothers. We're best friends. We're blah, blah, blah. Great stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is all to lead to Seth Rollins joining. I think that's what the haluva kick was. Seth Rollins somehow was going to get costed a match by Sami Zayn, and Seth's going to be like, no, I'm sick of this
Seth,
too. I'm
he's going to
joining.
eliminate him from the Rumble. I mean, there was that
Something.
was their whole
Mhm.
conversation backstage that they were having was, what if I
Yeah.
eliminate you first?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how it's going to get there.
It's all going to get Seth into the crew of Drew McIntyre and one Kevin Owens. Speaking of things like that, you really dug this Kofi Kingston Rey Mysterio stuff, didn't you? Huh?
Oh
Your
yeah,
boy Kofi. You had really enjoyed the end result of the match as well, as what I hear. But we had a little Kofi and New Day had interactions with JBL, and they took their $1 back after giving him $1.
Yeah,
And then Ray and Kofi wrestle. Yeah. So what'd you think? I mean, New Day. I mean, they're getting the heat. They're doing the stuff, but
I didn't.
Why? What's with Ray? By the way, I don't know why Ray's in this.
I didn't like this at all. I told you a few weeks ago on this show that I'm a little worried about the New Day because I'm worried that we're getting away from why they turned on Big E in the first place, and now we're just getting to the level. You mentioned Dirty Dom turning babyface. I feel like maybe they are turning him babyface so they can have these new heels in the New Day, but they're going to get the Dirty Dom heat, but they're also going to get the Dirty Dom treatment, which not really taken seriously in the wrestling picture, and they're there to lose big matches now because they're heels. And that was the thing I didn't like. You just turned this group heel. You just turned them heel. This is their first match in what feels like, I mean, they turned heel in November. Here we are at the end of January having their first match. So it's over 2 months. And you have Kofi Kingston lose. I don't understand. I know it was a fluke. It was like a roll up and it wasn't expected, but I know it's going to further push them down the even darker path that they're on. And I get that, but I just did not like that. They need to be winning matches, and they need to be, remember the whole thing was Xavier Woods wanted to win a singles title to prove everybody wrong. And that was the whole reason him and Kofi were beefing in the first place. Kofi and Xavier wanted to prove that they're good enough without Big E. And now their first match, you can't have them get a win. And again, what is up with Ray? Ray has a tendency to not put people over now. I mean, I don't understand what's going on there. I mean, he's already a deadbeat father, and now he's not putting over talent. And he put over Kevin Owens on Friday, but he can't put over Kofi on Monday. I didn't get it. And then the whole JBL thing was confusing because he's been showing up on TNA wearing a trench coat and not saying a word and clotheslining people left and right. And we have this TNA partnership with the WWE. And what do? Let's bring out JBL, and he's put him in his suit and have him do commentary because that's what he's doing. Not, none of it made any sense to me.
Well said. I agree. And, I just don't know. Like the New Day, you got the heat, and I get that they're trying to go at Ray probably because Ray is the most beloved person. So if you continue to give it to Ray, then hopefully, and then I think Kofi losing is their way of probably losing their minds and retaliating. So maybe they're going to just beat the snot out of him next week and then win a match at Royal Rumble or something, or eliminate him or something like that to get that heat back. Because since they lost, they need redemption. I don't know. I just, like you said, it's like WWE is kind of dragging this thing out a little too long than what they were doing. They're not giving them enough. Just having them backstage, constantly walking by people, whether it be Dom, JBL, John, it's like whoever's there that week, they're like, all right, you guys are going to walk by them and say, you're on our side, right? And they're going to say no. And then you're going to be like, well, screw you, and walk away. Like you need to do something else more than that. And losing a match or right isn't the way to continue that. We need, I'm not saying it's like dead in the water, but let's get this thing moving. Let's find I feel like they don't have a direction. We need something for them. You got 6 hours of television a week, for crying out loud. Like, come on, let's do this.
And your tag division is arguably at its weakest point. So why not just have them go after all the tag titles or something? Who are baby faces?
Who are the tag champions? Because I see these two. I see these two dudes come out every week without belts and doing spinning kicks. I didn't know they were the tag team champions because they don't defend them. So
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I don't like what they're doing with it. I am worried about the direction that the New Day's going in, and hopefully they can reroute the course a little bit.
All right. Well, let's do this really quick. Let's end Raw on this because you're talking about no direction. Well, we used to have one direction. That's what makes you beautiful. Now we have no direction, and that is one Rhea Ripley and her title.
Yes.
When she won that title, I stated instantly, Bad decision. Not because I don't like Rhea, because I'm a Rhea lover as much as I am a Liv Morgan lover. I love them both completely, in on both of them. But she had no opponents, and WWE proved me right by bringing Nia Jax over randomly to Raw to fight her for the title. And here's my problem with it. Did Nia Jax look like a monster? Sure. She beat the crap out of her on the way in, beat her up later on in the night. But now they're wrestling on Saturday. Guess what's going to happen? So now what do you do with Nia? Because she just lost her belt to Tiffany. Now she just lost to Rhea. And now this monster that you have is pretty much a monster no more. I don't like what they're doing here. And I think it was desperation. Like you said about Charlotte coming to Raw, if you have a weak women's division, then bring some damn people over. You should have brought Roxanne Perez over then. You should just bring some people over and elevate them. That's on you for not elevating the Raw women's talent. And you shouldn't have give Rhea the belt because Liv could have wrestled anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because anyone she wrestles will seem like they can beat her. So it's a good challenge for the champ. It was just bad booking by Triple H on this whole women's side with Rhea and everything.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And yeah, you had to go to SmackDown to get Rhea's first opponent, which doesn't make any sense. And then it just tells you that they haven't built the Raw women's roster up at all. And even when Liv was champion, I mean, Liv could be feuding with Io Sky. I mean, there's a lot more options for Liv to feud with than there are for Rhea, but she could be feuding with Io Sky, who she has history with. She could be feuding with Raquel. She could be feuding with who you name it. Bailey just came to Raw. Why not have her feud with Liv Morgan? So if Liv Morgan was still champion, I think there would be a lot more options. But now that Rhea has the belt, it's kind of holding things down a little bit.
I agree. Shoot, even Dakota Kai. I know she's not on that level, but hey, she just almost won the IC champion. And sometimes they do that where a person goes for the secondary, doesn't get it, and then they move them over to the champ. I mean, just anything. I don't know what. Or ding, ding, ding. You have Alexa Bliss sitting at home doing nothing. Should have brought her back to be a surprise and go at Rhea Ripley. She's a former multiple world champion. I don't get it. Nia Jax wasn't it. And I feel like this is going to hurt Nia more than help her, especially because she's had a tremendous 2024.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's get into a wild NXT, my man, because it was wild. And speaking of wild, I'm going to start where it was wild. We had a little bit of the new champion, Lyra Valkyria, with a Bayley. They were getting a pretty good pop. Bayley's doing it all right now. They went from not using her to putting her everywhere, and I love it because she's beautiful, and she is one of the best. If not, she's got to be top 3 currently in the world as a women's wrestler. She is that person. And they brought out Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. And they got booed. And when I say they got booed, these girls just continued. They had to talk. They were just like, whatever. I didn't even hear half the shit they were saying because they were getting booed so loud. And they were getting booed so much, Ryan, that they were like, Cora Jade was like smiling because I don't think you understand in a pro wrestling term, and I'm not saying I'm an expert, but there's 2 things that will make a wrestler happy. 1, getting cheered out of the building. And 2, getting booed out of the building, because that means you are doing what you're supposed to do and the crowd is reacting to it. No, nothing. The X-Pac heat is what you don't want, where it's silent, right? These, I think they got booed, if not more than. It definitely was on the level of New Day and Daddy Dom, and even Don Callis a year ago. It was loud, man. Like, it was loud, and they were loving it, and I was watching it on my couch so happy because I love Cora and I love Roxanne Perez. And they deserve that because they have worked hard to get to that spot. And the fact that Bayley coming over got them that heat, now Shawn Michaels needs to run with it because that was insane. Yeah. It like threw me off guard. It was so insane.
Yeah. No, I thought it was great. I think I mean, it was definitely not piped in. I know that's going to be the narrative coming around too. Oh, it was piped in heat. No, it was absolutely not. You could look at the crowd and tell it was not piped in. And then they started chanting, "Shut the hell up." I mean, everything.
Oh, gosh.
And you could see Julia smiling, the win NXT, like you could see everybody, like they were digging it. They weren't getting frustrated. They weren't, and kudos to them because NXT is still developmental. And they've never really been in a situation like this. And so they finished the promo. They didn't get flabbergasted. They didn't get flustered. They didn't, lose track of what they were going to say because the crowd was taking over the segment. They finished it. There was a segment a few years ago where the crowd kept singing Seth Rollins' song while Finn Balor was trying to cut a promo. And you could tell he was getting really frustrated because he was going to do like a pipe bomb probably. And we never got to hear it because the crowd. This wasn't that at all. I mean, the kudos to these women for finishing that whole promo and not getting annoyed or anything with the crowd and handling it like champs. They did great.
Also, kudos to you for correcting me without correcting me. Julia, sorry, I was just thinking the IC champion. As soon as we faded in NXT, I said Lyra Valkyria. Julia and Bailey were in the ring. Thank you, Julia,
Yeah,
the women's NXT Women's Champion. Thank you for that. I know who Julia is, and she did great too. She came out and cut a good. She's doing good for what she needed to do. And Bailey
Funaki or whatever.
Yeah, right. So once again, I know WWE, they have to cut the promos, but you don't always have to. Like, they did it really well with Shinsuke recently, and with who just cut one and like speaking in Spanish back and forth. And Penta, same thing, man. You're just giving these, you can give them a little bit of, they don't have to cut a CM Punk promo. So I like for the crowd to enjoy them. The crowd understands it's not their native language. So it's like, it's nice to see them speak, especially in their native tongue, and hit a little bit of English and then move on. Because they'll do their pushing in the ring. All right. I say we just go to the main event. I know you got a lot of talk about it, so I'll let you start off. Let's just go into this main event before we go to our segments. What did you think? The main event time. We got a lot going on.
I like the way the show closed. But can we get Eddie Thorpe out of the title picture now? He's had his moment in the sun. I like Eddie Thorpe. I have no problem with him. I actually respect that he did his thing and avoided the Iron Survivor and still got not one but two title matches against.
For sure.
Without having to work hard for it. So kudos to him for that. But all right, he's had his moment. Now can we focus on Trick Williams and Obafemi? Can we give them a true rivalry, a true feud going into Stand and Deliver? Because that's what we all want to see. And we're going to get it, it looks like, because Trick Williams came out and super kicked Eddie Thorpe, and then Obafemi was trash talking, you come back for more. You come back for more. You want some more. So it was just good stuff. Give me Trick, Obafemi all day, every day in NXT. Use this as Trick Williams' swan song in NXT. Have him lose, put Obafemi over, and then get Trick to the main roster ASAP. So get Eddie Thorpe out of there and give me a true one-on-one feud between these two guys before you call them up.
Well said. And props to Eddie Thorpe, because not only that, but this was a great way to get him over, just like they did with Ethan Page. Now Ethan Page is a big hitter in the NXT. Now Eddie Thorpe can move on and he can be a big hitter because now he's had that title opportunity. He's had the rub. So now he can at least be taken more as a threat, just like Ethan Page. But get him out of the picture right now, like you said. But he had a great match. It was a good match with Oba. And I'm glad they didn't just have Oba squash him, which should have happened. They had Eddie Thorpe get offense in. There's close pinfalls. Excuse me, really, really well done. And yes, them face to face. I said it on TikTok. I'm going to say it on our beautiful podcast. Obafemi Trick Williams is the biggest match, world championship match in NXT history. I'm going to die by that. I really think it is. And I think it's a great way. I'm glad Oba won in a triple threat, because this is a better way of Trick losing in a one-on-one, because now he's not the champion, so he's trying to earn it. Gives him a little bit more of a reason to not win that championship match, that one-on-one match. So now we get the one-on-one, and then I can't wait to hear that pop when Trick gets entered into the Royal Rumble and the crowd saying, whoop that Trick. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, good stuff. Good for Oba, good for Trick, good for Eddie, good on HBK. I like it. I like it a lot. Before we move on, did you notice a lot of people now are starting what's going on with Ava being recognized as The Rock's daughter now? That wasn't a thing before. And now it's like every segment, A-Town Down came out and was like, oh, it's the final boss. Like, oh, I like you more than The Rock. Oh, like, and she's not commenting, but that's not the first time. That's been like
The Rock even
now.
Said it. Yeah.
That's
he said it. He was like, yeah, I'm going to go hang out with my daughter and Shawn Michaels back. Like, it was just,
and she was at the Golden Globes and like with him, and she would look gorgeous, by the way. There's just like a lot of like, I wonder, I don't know. I'm just saying, is this leading? Are they doing this for a reason? I don't know.
I hope so.
But
you got to do something with Ava, because she needs it.
Well, this was good practice for her, because she needs to get more, I don't know, practice on the mic. So this is a good build for her before she goes to WWE. And with that, I was trying to give you some time to do that predictions. It is Saturday night main event prediction time, and I think you should hit that music, dude.
It's prediction time. Before it ever happens, it's a prediction. Lean in close, take notes, listen. Cause they about to point it out quickly. All the things that you didn't see is getting called like plays at the line of scrimmage. You can take it to the bank, the dudes ain't tripping. They've been seeing what's coming for a good minute. It's prediction time, yeah, let's get it.
Whew. I love you, Solo. It is time for Saturday night's main event prediction. Well, we only got 4 cards, so it should go quick. And we will add in the fact that they are having a signing between one Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. We don't have to talk about it, but the greatest of all time, the GOAT in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. Shawn Michaels is narrating it for some reason or whatever. He's not narrating it, but
he's going to facilitate it. Yeah.
Facilitate. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. I don't even know what that means, but hey, it's his title, right?
He's going to take a
belt. So
it's going to be the same old. I mean, I'll predict it right now. I'll tell you that.
Go. Let's go.
Shawn Michaels is going to get put into the pile driver by Kevin Owens, and that's when Cody Rhodes is going to attack him, and he's not gonna pile drive him. He's going to set him up like he did with Ray.
Okay.
And that's when Cody's going to come out and strike and sign the contract and then leave or something like that. It's going to be something like that.
I mean, F Kevin Owens when it comes to that because he's a little Bret Hart tool.
But that's how you get heat, man.
Damn. HBK, baby. All day. Yeah, I know. I'm all for it. All right, let's get into it. We got the big boys. We got Braun Strowman versus Jacob Fatu, and probably the easiest match to predict. Here's the thing, though. You know what's great about this match is that Braun Strowman's like 8 feet tall and like 8 feet wide, and Jacob Fatu is about 5 feet tall and about 5 feet wide, but yet it looks like they are completely even if they were in a street fight. That's how vicious Jacob Fatu is. But who do you got, Ryan, and why is it Braun Strowman?
It's not. It's Jacob Fatu all day, every day. He's cutting these crazy promos the last couple of weeks now. I think they're really trying to test him as a solo act, no pun intended, to kind of see how he is. And now he's getting this opportunity at Saturday night's main event. I think the last couple of weeks they're really trying to showcase what a star and what they have in Jacob. And Braun Strowman's the perfect opponent for him. Braun Strowman's had great matches with Bronson Reed. With the monster among men or the last monster standing, I think it was. And this match is going to be hard hitting. I think this is the match I'm most excited about on this card. I think it's going to be fun, but Jacob Fatu is going to get the win. He's got the numbers. He's got the bloodline I can't say that anymore, but he's got Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa still in his corner. So I feel like the numbers are going to catch up and Jacob Fatu is going to get the win.
I well said. And is this his first solo match?
I think so, on a big stage,
or at least a big stage. Yeah, this Jacob Fatu is going to become a huge star, and when he does, we're going to go back and look at this match as the start. That promo that he did after Solo, this was all done for a reason. It's not him breaking up. It's just it's time. If he's going to go with other people, like say he does join the Drew McIntyres and stuff, he needs this type of stuff because we need to have him believable, not just as a force, but as a star. Yeah. This is going to get him there. So yeah, he's going to destroy Braun Strowman, and this match is going to be a banger. I'm looking forward to it. But Jacob gets the win. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
All right. Oh, I forgot Braun Breaker was even the Intercontinental Champion. All right. So we got Braun Breaker defending his title versus Sheamus, the man who needs the Intercontinental title to fulfill his, being the Grand Slam champion, correct? Only belt he's never won, just like John Cena. Who do you got, Braun Breaker or Sheamus?
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say Sheamus is going to win the Intercontinental Championship. I think his time has come. It's here. This is the one title that's eluded him. Braun Breaker, his championship reign has just fallen apart. I don't know what the heck has happened, but it's not interesting anymore. He's not even on Raw. Like, he doesn't even hype it up. Like you said, I forgot he was Intercontinental Champion as well. So, but Sheamus was there to kind of do the backstage stuff. And I think what they're setting up for is Sheamus versus John Cena. He keeps mentioning his first match in WWE. He won the title off of John Cena. He won. He said it like 3 weeks in a row. So I think this is going to set up for Sheamus versus John Cena at Mania for the Intercontinental title. So Sheamus gets the win here.
I agree with everything you said, and I think that's exactly how it should happen. I just don't think it's going to. I think they're going to keep the belt. I think Braun Breaker retains. Maybe he loses to Sheamus later on, possibly maybe Rumble or something, but like you said, Braun Breaker should be a star. He should be the Jacob Fatu type of next guy moving up.
You think?
And he won the IC title. His first reign as IC champion was a dud too. They're giving him the belt, and then why aren't they just letting him tear? Just because you're the champ doesn't mean you can't spear people all day, every day. Let him tear people up and move on like that. I don't know what they're doing, but I just don't think taking the belt off him right now is going to help him at all because he's done nothing. So I'm going to go with Braun Breaker, but I won't see. There has to be one surprise. Last time I said so, and there was none. So it's either going to be Breaker losing or Gunther losing. There has to be a surprise on this damn card.
That's why I think it's this one. Yeah.
So yeah, it possibly could be this one, but I'm still going to go with Sheamus. I just don't think the WWE will pull the trigger. All right, let's get into it. Oh,
there's the Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens.
Yeah, so good things. Ooh, dang, look at them. Okay, models. All right, we got one Rhea Ripley versus one Nia Jax. This is the other easiest match to predict. And why? Who do you got?
It's Rhea Ripley. Unfortunately, Nia is going to take yet another loss, and that's why we talk. We don't need to spend a lot of time talking about this. We've already talked about it, but this was not. It's still not the right decision having Rhea Ripley take the belt off of Liv Morgan. It made no sense, and this is why. And it's going to hurt Nia Jax, and I think it's going to hurt Rhea Ripley unless somebody makes a return, like a Becky Lynch or somebody, and they declare that they're going to the Rumble, and that adds a little bit of intrigue to everything. But Rhea Ripley's winning this match. She's not losing her first defense since winning.
Yeah, so we were talking about there has to be something on Saturday night's main event, and I truly don't think there's going to be any surprise title changes, even though we haven't got to Gunther Jey Uso yet. But if you look at this card, right, it's all about the star power. They put Jey Uso on it to get ratings. They put Braun Breaker on it to get some ratings. They put Jacob Fatu on it because people want to see him, ratings. They put Rhea Ripley on it so quickly for ratings. And I think they're going to do one more thing for ratings. And yes, Rhea Ripley's going to beat Nia Jax, and Becky Lynch will return. I think that's going to be the main pop. I mean, Seth Rollins was on the show with Homeboy, and he literally said, hey, like on his podcast, and he said, hey, Becky's at home being a mom. She's doing her thing. She's doing other things. She's being busy. He never once said she wasn't coming back to WWE. I think that was hinted for a reason. So yeah, I think Becky Lynch returns, and basically, like you said, will say she's going to win the Rumble. And I'm sorry, if the Royal Rumble has Charlotte and Tiffany and Rhea and Becky, whoo, that's and one of those don't main event, that's a problem. But yeah. So all right, I agree with you, and let's get on to this main event, which I think will also have easy predictions. But oh my gosh, Jey Uso, you look like a moron. Look at him. Look, what is those? I'm sorry, those glasses and his look are not doing it for me.
No, anyway, I don't like it. Yeah,
I'm glad people like it and stuff, but his like those like look at that turtle. Who wears a turtle? Okay, let's get into it. We got Gunther defending his title against one Jey Uso. Who do you got? Who is winning this match? I don't think it's as easy to call, but I think
I don't understand what has happened to Gunther. I feel like we didn't talk about it on Raw, but he used to be the dominant. When he was the Intercontinental Champion, he would go out there and just kick everybody's ass. He was dominant, and he didn't give a crap who you were, and your chest would be red because of the Gunther chops. Now he's just not. He's not as dominant. I mean, his biggest put down to Jey Uso on Monday was calling him a dork. He called him a dork. I mean, I
guess I just did,
but I mean, he was just like, you're a dork. And like, if that's not Vince McMahon type writing, I don't know what is. And so that was like, it's just very surprising to me the fallout for Gunther. But with that being said, I think he is going to retain. I don't think Jey Uso, I don't know if he can afford losing yet another title match. This will be his fourth or fifth opportunity at this title. But Gunther's going to retain. Gunther's going to retain and set up for something with the Royal Rumble.
So I'm trying to think, right? Because like you said, Gunther is not hot right now. I don't know what they have done.
Jey Uso is super hot. Yeah.
Jey Uso is super hot right now, and Jey Uso keeps losing and losing. He can only lose so much, which makes me think he could pull off the victory. If I was going to do one surprise, this was my one. I think Jey Uso winning the belt, closing down Saturday Night Main Event would be a nice little note for them. And yeeting and all. I can see it happening. I just don't see who he wrestles at Mania. So unless he has it till Rumble and then loses it back to Gunther or somebody else, like I can see. Like, I can't see CM Punk and Jey Uso at WrestleMania, but I can see CM Punk and Gunther so I think this is the start of.
You get Gunther. Roman and Jay.
You could, but I just feel like Punk is gonna. But you can't have Punk and Cody, right? Like, I mean, I guess you could, but I think no. I think Gunther defends. I think this is Gunther getting back his mojo. It'll start here, and hopefully they get him back on track. But just like Braun Breaker, you got 6 hours of television. We can't get in some Gunther time. You know what I mean? He was been backstage and in audiences, and then he cut one kind of promo, and it was boring.
Yeah.
We got to do more here. So yeah, but I got Gunther winning. That's my call.
Yeah, I think
right.
it's a safe pick, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jay wins.
No, not at all. I wouldn't be surprised or shocked. All right, that's it. Now let's get into our weekly segment, and that is least valuable dude and most valuable dude, dudettes or dudes or dudettes or whatever. So we'll always start off with the least valuable dude or dudette. Ryan, who is your least valuable dude or dudette for the week of WWE? Look, we're going to stay on Saturday Night's Main Event. I like it.
Yeah, I'm going with I'm gonna go with the Raw Women's Division is my LVD. I think that they had to go to SmackDown to get Rhea's first opponent. We've talked about this a lot, so we don't need to keep harping on it. But
yeah,
it just kind of shows the status of that when Rhea and Liv were feuding, there was nobody being built up on the side, and now they're really hurting for people. I think the SmackDown side is fine because you have Jade Cargill, you have Naomi, you have Bianca Belair, you have Tiffany Stratton. You can, if you move Damage Control down there, you can have some people there. Roxanne Perez could go over. I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities on SmackDown. Raw right now, even Liv Morgan doesn't seem all that concerned about getting her belt back. She's more concerned about punishing Dominic Mysterio for some, and hooking up with him in the middle of the show. And then, yeah, like I just feel like the Raw Women's Division is in desperate need of, I don't want to say an overhaul, but they just need something to get its groove back. And, a Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair could really do that. Bayley being on Raw certainly helps, but she's not going after Rhea right away. She's feuding with Roxanne. So I don't know. I just think the Raw Women's Division is the LVD of the week until they can figure this out.
Fantastic pick. I can't go against that. I thought it was actually hard to pick an LVD this week, I decided on one, and it's no fault to him. I know he's your brother from another mother, but Sami Zayn. I have to say, and this is why, because I do think he looked like a doofus in the thing with Kevin Owens. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again. Like, he's continuing to get like duped into the Kevin Owens thing. And then so much so that then he was like, here comes my Aluva kill. Whoopsies, I hit Seth. He just was booked like a real nerdy nerd this week. And I just felt like out of anybody who would take an L this week, it has to be Sami Zayn, because he had to, if this was real life, he would have definitely went home like, oh man, what did I do? Because now it's like Kevin Owens or Jay. He's just all over the place. And I do feel like they don't have a direction for him. And now I do feel like he's being used as a pawn to get Seth to turn to the dark side. So I don't even think he's being used properly that way. But it is what it is. But I just thought he took the L this week just because he let Kevin Owens get in his head again, so much so that then he accidentally hit his so-called friend that he was just being besties with in the backstage. So, yeah, I think he took the L for this week in the WWE. Good call on the women's division, though.
Yeah, it's a solid pick. Sami Zayn, he's another one that hasn't really been booked very well lately. And hopefully the Rumble changes that and we get some story progression for Mania.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but we'll see. All right, MVD or the week. Dude or dudette, who do you got?
I'm going NXT, man. I'm going Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. That entire segment was fantastic. The heat that they got, just the promo that they cut. I mean, everything about it was just a good way to elevate all four of the women that were in the ring. And like we said earlier, you could tell that Bayley was proud of that moment. You could tell Julia was proud of that moment. It was just a really cool moment with all that heat that they were getting. And it wasn't, like you said, X-Pac heat. It was real, actual, genuine heat. That you don't hear that a lot in NXT. You don't get that a lot. And usually the NXT crowd, as great as they are, they usually go with, they cheer and they boo. They don't give that kind of heat. So they get the MVD of the week for me this week for sure.
Great call. That's a very, very good pick. I wanted to pick them, but instead I picked one, Kevin Owens. That dude was on. He carried SmackDown. He carried Raw. He's carrying the WWE. He's carrying Cody Rhodes. He's carrying me. He's carrying
Winged Eagle Championship.
Dude, I mean, look, that belt is so beautiful. I don't care what anyone says. That's the best belt. I do like the big Winged Eagle belt as well, but that one's better.
Yeah.
The originals, always the best. except for Back to the Future. But it's just good stuff. Everything about Kevin Owens, fantastic. He's my most valuable dude of the week, and possibly every week if I really chose to pick him every week, because he's just that man. But yeah, Cora J2 and Roxanne Perez, good for them.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right. That's it. That's our week of WWE. Thank you for tuning in. And once again, give us some follows, give us some likes, give us some comments. You guys are getting better at it, but let's keep getting better at it so we can work this algorithm. And don't forget also, if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Music, to rate us, man. Give us a 5-star and tell us how great we are. Thank you, please. We need that too for the algorithm. And as always, if you just want to catch me, I don't get views, so try to find me at my_wrestling_opinion. I do put good stuff out there. If you like hearing me here, you'll love me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and so on. And with me, as always, is
at Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go follow me on all the social platforms. We both survived the TikTok ban. It was a rough 14 hours, but we made it. And there was a lot of things that lasted long. Finn Balor's world champion or Universal Championship reign lasted longer than the TikTok ban. But either way, go follow us on all the social medias. We're on TikTok for as long as it's still around at 2 Dudes with Attitudes. We're on X at 2 Dudes PC. Like you said earlier, go subscribe to our YouTube, help us blow up there, and then listen to us on Apple and Spotify. Leave us 5-star ratings and reviews. We need them, and it helps with the growth of the show. So we appreciate all the love and support. Tell everyone about your favorite 2 dudes on the internet.
Word. 2 dudes, wolf
2
pack.
dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the 2 dudes and the attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. A 5-star broadcast, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the 2 dudes with the attitudes will bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.